Hello, my name is Jeff, and here with me and a guest now to talk about Extra Life, specifically what we're going to do on Saturday, November 2nd, 2024, which is game day. This is my fourth year participating in Extra Life, and this is the second annual Ghostnola Industries Cardio Souls Charity Variation Guaranteed World Record attempt that we'll be doing. But before we do that, let's go to Max.
What is Extra Life? Extra Life is a program of Children's Miracle Network hospitals with over 50,000 participants. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Lifers from across the globe have raised more than $100 million for local member children's hospitals. Money raised through Extra Life supports member children's hospitals, funding critical treatments or pediatric medical equipment, making sure that hospitals can provide charitable care to those in need, specialized services not covered by insurance. The money Jeff is raising this year is going towards his local Children's Miracle Network hospital, Children's Specialized Hospital in Mountainside, New Jersey. Children's Specialized Hospital is the preeminent provider of rehabilitation healthcare services for children with special needs, serving children affected by brain injury, spinal cord injury, premature birth, autism, developmental delays, and life-changing illnesses. Every dollar you give helps provide life-saving care to children in need. Thanks for your donations, and now back to the show. Take it away, Jeff.
Hey, thanks, Max. Our guest today is none other than, and I'm going to make sure I get this right, the Empress Karen Peterson of Post Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, wildly real-time Twitter updates on a language I lack any ability to read for a hobby that I love. She's here with us today. I do have some breaking news, aside from Karen just being gracious with her time and participating. She's signed up for Extra Life to raise money for Orlando Health Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children, but also is a member of Team Malords. Karen, welcome to the team.
I am in my rookie season. This is my first Extra Life. I am glad to be here. Oh, there's balloons. I guess I can't talk with my hands here. This happens. This is very much on brand for when I record on post, because I am very animated. I talk with my hands, and inevitably, in one meeting or another, the animations that I don't know exist decide to trigger themselves.
I was doing a lot of hand stuff with the one I did the other day, and I was surprised I didn't trigger anything. I guess perhaps I have those disabled, but now that I know they're there, I might have to mess around for the future to just, you know, have some happy little accidents show up.
I am the queen of happy accidents. You know, I am embracing my inner Bob Ross. But yes, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to finally pluck up the courage to join Extra Life. And when you're like, hey, want to squad up and join our team? I was like, can I? I'm like, sure. Why not?
We now represent a good chunk of the country. I got New Jersey, you're Florida, we got Illinois, and we got Texas. We're almost, you know, we got half, you know?
How many time zones we got? 2, 3?
I think we're 3 time zones. We're East Coast, and I think we do have Central and Mountain, perhaps. Definitely we're into Central Time. I know.
Awesome.
I know for one of our friends who is, you know, a regular commentator, who is a big slab of Albertan beef, you know, from no less than Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He is the Mountain Time representative, so we're trying to spread out here. But we don't need to talk about people from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We're talking about Karen and why she's here. Her selfless devotion to spreading the joy of Japanese pro wrestling.
Oh my gosh.
Her ability to, direct quote, open hearts and wallets for a great cause.
Something, if we're going to go back into my lore, when I was in college, I was on the Inter-Residence Hall Association, like basically the campus-wide dormitory association for the University of Florida. And anytime we did a charity event somewhere on campus, that was our tagline. It was the unofficial tagline for everything. Just open your hearts and your wallets for a good cause. And I have done many, well, back then, many a wild thing for said cause, including opening my wallet, but also a lot of punishment games in the name of charity.
I have inadvertently, I think, picked the best person for this video. I'm excited for when I break down what this challenge really is. Now, I hope you didn't cheat and look at my personal Extra Life page, but if you did, just knock it out of your head. Yeah, good.
Nope, I did not.
Yeah. So I do have some more Karen facts. Much like younger me, you made the correct choice. You are a Mac user, which means that you have heard of Dark Souls being a video game that exists, but you haven't played it. That's
Correct.
okay. I'm going to be thorough here. I am a former pedantic maths teacher for the high school level. I got you covered. I got the Wikipedia summary of the game. That's all we need to know for things. You know,
Excellent.
both being people in education and our straight jobs. All right. Dark Souls is a 2011 action role-playing game developed by From Software and published by Namco Bandai Games. The game takes place in the Kingdom of Lordran, where players assume the role of a cursed undead character who begins a pilgrimage to discover the fate of their kind.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, at any point, please interrupt for clarification. There's some stuff that's going to come at you.
I'm just along for the ride right now.
Okay. So one of the things that I love about Dark Souls, if you watch any of those charity video game marathons, there are a lot of gimmick runs. My favorite are more so the ones that physically assault the player rather than mentally taxing them with having to just kind of on their feet figure out what's going on. The ones where they both overlap, I especially love, which kind of, brings me to things I've learned about myself and Dark Souls, and we can get to the topic at hand, which is Cardio Souls, or how I decided to spend one day a year physically assaulting my own body in the name of charity while playing a video game using cardiovascular exercise equipment.
Good grief. That's a very specific list of goals you got there.
Well, it's a system, it's a game, there's rules. We're going to go over the rules. And once again, if you need, I will clarify these rules. Okay. We're going to be playing this game. While I'm playing this game, I am using a Stair-Stepper as my cardio machine of choice. Unfortunately, this basement is not very high. I'm a short guy. I'm sitting on a stool, but I am pushing the drop ceiling tile. There's only maybe like an inch if I took it out. I do not have the wonderful gym Stair-Stepper that's a set of stairs. It's one of those stationary ones with the up, but it works. It'll burn your knees and your thighs and all that good stuff. In the game, as a lot of these modern video games, there's cutscenes. Unless one of those is playing, I need to be moving on the Stair-Stepper. So some people were saying, oh, but if the character's not, no, I gotta go. I gotta just be in constant motion unless the game, has taken control away from me. That's my brief respite. Dark Souls is a game known for some glitches. All of them are valid. You can get really silly, and we're gonna get really silly. Like, Karen, what if I told you that, in a game where items are consumable and limited, instead of using one, you could trick the game into letting you use 999 of them at the same time for your own benefit.
It's like a built-in game genie. I like that.
It is. We were talking before we started about being old Nintendo people, and I absolutely had the Game Genie when it came out, and my book was well-worn and dog-eared, and I don't know about you, but I eventually had to only use my NES with the Game Genie in, even if I wasn't doing it because I messed up the springs.
Thankfully, I didn't get that far because I had to share mine with my sister. So it was more of we had a very limited selection, but we spent burning off most of our energy. Do you remember the power pad?
I had the power pad, and hopefully for this year, hopefully, I got a friend that's a big DDR guy, and I am trying to get him to get me a custom one that has 9 panels, because DDR, the center one, right, is a null zone. I wanna do some, power pad games. I'm trying. I did was it Ring Fit a whole bunch last year? We did this one. We're trying to, get moving while you're playing games. See, I don't know about you, but when I was in the lockdown, I ate a lot of my feelings. I ate so many of my feelings, Karen.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
My younger brother, here's his Sailor Scout charm. He had passed away and COVID happened, and I'm just, all the food's going in me. It's going to be good. And I found myself playing a lot of video games because I had time, and I said, this is going to go to a bad place. So I started only playing games if I was, doing a physical activity. And that's where the Stair-Stepper came in. It was very good. At one point, my wife walked into the living room and saw me doing the morning stretches with the Animal Crossing people. and said, you know, this is good.
I love the animal. I love the morning stretches. And the funny thing about that, as a someone who burned many an hour in the Animal Crossing and lived in Japan, is that the morning stretching that they do on that game, that is something that people actually do in Japan. They like in local community centers, the seniors, sometimes they use it in like the school setting where like sports day. So it's while it's not all the same across the country, a lot of the movements in that virtual version of it is what people actually do. I have done it when I lived in Japan. So it was like a very nostalgic thing for me to have that included in the game.
Oh, this is an important one. As soon as I defeat a boss in this game, there will be a user-submitted, donation-based alcoholic beverage queue, which provides me a drink I must immediately consume. I do get to stop stepping at that point because, you know, the people are paying good money for me to drink something foul. And if I'm moving around on the Stair-Stepper and just kind of spill it on myself, I feel like I'm cheating them.
Yes.
We have some pretty good drinks that we get. I have the list from last year. There's 12. I think we did do 13. In this game, you know, there's about 26 bosses that are, you know, capable of, you know, going through. A lot of them are optional. Yeah, figure a baker's dozen to 15. That's your normal. I'm just playing through for fun, you know, what you're going to run into. So here's what I had to drink last year. And also there were incentives where just, I had to just drink, you know, before the boss. Just if you put in the money, it had to happen. All right, we had Malort. 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 Are you familiar with Malort, Karen?
I've heard of the Malort. Yes.
We're Team Malort.
Yes.
Good old
but I have
Jepson's
never been able
Malort
to
liqueur.
acquire any or try it.
It's you know, I'm running a little low. This was a Christmas gift from a friend, and it's lasted about 2 or 3 years now. And you can buy direct from them on their website. I would recommend it, you know, since now you're part of the team, and one of our, you know, group games is we do Malordio Party, where we, you know, do Mario Party co-op. And usually,
that means I need to download Mario Party, don't I?
Usually it's me, because, you know, much like Whose Line Is It Anyway, the rules are made up and the points don't matter. I just kind of get frustrated and concede, but then I get punished. You know, usually it's the last place person has to drink. But then when I get accused of throwing games, I get additional ones added in. So but it's for the kids. It's a good cause.
As long as we're not doing that rule with Mario Kart, because I am perpetually terrible at Mario Kart.
My latest Mario Kart knowledge comes from the DS one, the first DS one. I think there's a couple. I checked out.
Played it, I think, on the GameCube. I have not played it in well over a decade. So
we're gonna be, you know, fighting for last place. It'll be good.
Wonderful.
Oh, somebody was kind. So I did say, you know, drink-based donations, typically alcohol, but I didn't say it couldn't be something non-alcoholic. So after 3 Malorts, somebody was kind and gave me a Coke Zero. That was a nice palate cleanse.
Where's your water in all of this?
Oh, we're getting there.
Okay.
Another Malort. We had a specialty drink. I forget who gave it to us. Raleigh Carolina Reaper rum.
Oh my, is that like hot pepper? Like Carolina?
Yeah, it's
Who
spicy.
hates you? That sounds terrible.
So the thing with this one, like, because I'm just slamming shots. I'm not doing sippies, right?
Yeah. Oh,
the
Lord.
spice kind of gets you after. It's more so like I get the, oh no, I had something spicy and now I have the hiccups. So I am at this point 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, you know, shots deep. Plus now this, and I have the hiccups. Also, I have pounded with the Coke Zero. It's not sippy. I have to just shotgun chug that Coke Zero. So now I have the carbonation of that in me, and then the Carolina Reaper on top of the hiccups.
My stomach, the sounds my stomach is making right now, I'm just like, oh man,
yeah,
I hurt for you.
So now I'm hiccuping, and I defeat another boss, and it's a big wave beer. It's a delicious, you know, basically it's a 4%-ish, you know, ale. It's nice, you know.
My Kona Brewing Company.
There you go. Big wave. As featured in, you know, Infinite Wealth. They changed the name, but, you know, if you read the credits, you know that that's what it was supposed to be. This was a delicious one. One of my good friends, we had to come up with a cocktail. So it was an old-fashioned with the spin being use a cherry Coke. But again, I had to
Ooh.
chug a cocktail after having a whole bunch of Malort, a Carolina Reaper rum, a carbonated soda, and your carbonated beer.
How did you survive that? Because I don't know. Like,
I'm the run last year. I played the game. The in-game timer was about 6 hours and 43 minutes. So I
and you
wasn't
drank all of that in 6 hours and 43
I
minutes?
wasn't
Holy
necessarily
smokes.
doing wait an hour water between, but I'm sweating. There was a funk down here. I am of Mediterranean extraction through my grandparents. So I smell. I'm just a smelly guy. So there's that sweat plus the alcohol sweating out of me. So it was like a ripe brewery, or you as a former RA, it's like you had to go break up a frat party. Yeah, you know the smell. I see it.
I do. I was also a flight attendant,
Oh
so
yeah.
yes, I know precisely what smell you're talking about.
The lovely just recycled. And again, I'm in a basement. I have windows,
Woo!
but I can't really crack them. We do have several air fresheners we've put down to hopefully combat it for this year. So my good friend Donnie, here you're asking about it. Water. That was his donation. He said, please drink some water. So I did get 16 ounces of water there. But don't worry, big wave for the next two. And
You love me a Kona Big Wave.
they're so good. They're so good. How much of a film buff are you, perhaps, of the Brendan Fraser, Christopher Walken slant?
Are we talk? I am a bit rusty, but I was, not so much Christopher Walken, but him in Sleepy Hollow is probably my favorite.
Oh, the teeth.
Brendan Fraser is very much the Mummy series, and yeah, the Mummy series was my favorite with him in it.
Okay. Well, maybe if I had said Alicia Silverstone, you might have remembered, was it Blast from the Past?
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you remember Christopher's drink of choice in that movie?
I do not.
Okay, so one of my buddies wanted to do a spin on that. So we let him go to the kitchen and make a cocktail. He made a cocktail using our stove. Christopher Walken kept trying to get people to drink hot Dr. Pepper in that movie. So
Like the soda warmed up.
like you're heating up a soup, or perhaps a ramen, if we're being culturally diverse here, but it's Dr. Pepper into a little
I
pan.
mean, I have had mulled wine, but I've never tried drinking a soda warm before.
It's
Other than if it's been sat in the car for too long.
it's funny you mentioned mulled wine, because it wasn't just the hot Dr. Pepper. He also put some shots of Malort in there for me. So it
Oh
was
my God.
a hot Dr. Pepper with 2 Malorts, and
Oh my Lord.
it worked.
That sounds awful.
It really worked though, because Malort, I forced myself to like grapefruit juice when I was 19, because I said you need to be healthy. I wasn't drinking alcohol yet. That didn't really come until my 20s. I was a pretty straight arrow guy. But that back end of Malort reminds me of forcing myself to drink something good for me. So you combine that with the Dr. Pepper, and it's just like a weird, spicy, grapefruity mulled thing. But the warmth, though, while again, that at that point I was absolutely at least 6 hours into using the Stair-Stepper. So a warm beverage on that was a treat. It was a treat.
You're being very diplomatic. Exceptionally diplomatic.
Yeah, it is. But I beat the game. We had some fun incentives in there. One of them was there is a boss that's notoriously difficult. You get it on the first try, or you're there for hours. So, I have workout equipment here. I try to stay fit. One of them is, the weighted vest. And instead of the plates, it's got the little bricks you put in. So I said, hey, if you hit this milestone, every time I die to this boss, I'm going to put another brick in, and if I die enough, I'll be having a 30-pound weight vest that I can't take off until I beat the boss.
Oh, good grief.
I did it on the first try.
Well done.
And I really didn't think it was happening. I said, surely on the Stair-Stepper with Lord knows how much alcohol in me, this is going to go real bad, so I might as well make it real entertaining. But I was very excited, and I did demand a bonus big wave for that achieving that feat. We called that pain mode. It really didn't happen, but I have a twist this year where if we raise that money, my goal right now is $1,500, and if we get to $1,499.99, pain mode's activated. So I have the vest, I have these weighted gloves, I have ankle weights. So if we do pain mode, I got to put all that on me. So that's, I believe, about 36 pounds of weight while I'm using the Stair-Stepper, which, don't worry, I've managed to shed some lbs, so I'm not at the 220-pound max weight limit for it, but I'm getting dangerously close. I have to defeat a boss to remove weight. So basically, of those 26 bosses I mentioned, where about half of them are optional, I'm gonna really need to, go out of my way to do some extra damage to shed the weight. But if I don't time it right, or people are kind, by which I mean very mean with their donations, I could have a lot more booze in me than last year. So it's potentially getting interesting. A speedrunner can beat this game in minutes. There's some, like I said, all glitches are valid. There's ones where you don't really need to fight anybody and you just kind of whoop to the end. If you've seen some of those Link to the Past speedruns, there's a trick where from the very beginning you just walk through the background and end up in the end credits. It's kind of funny. They have similar sort of things. I'm looking for 7 hours. I think 7 hours is viable based off last year and our additions. So, Karen, you're also skilled enough to be dangerous in many things. We're
just enough.
Yeah. As a buddy once said, there's nothing worse than an idiot with a plan. And, I am that idiot with a plan. But, we're also in the same age bracket. So I want to know, what sort of dangers, perils, pitfalls do you see for, a man just dashing towards middle age, doing something like this that I've outlined so far?
Somebody who works at a university medical school, I fear for your well-being. There is always the pulled muscle, the joints giving out, lower back problems, all the fun aches and pains of growing old. But you seem to be in very well, you're in good shape. You look healthy. You seem very determined. My only request as your friend would be to please have more water on the schedule this year. Like unpaid for water, because if you're gonna go that long, full disclosure, and disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. I just work around a whole bunch of doctors. And I also live in Florida where it's already 90 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning here. So summer's here. So for me, it's like I hear all of what you were consuming and I'm just like, water, please, please, please just drink more water.
Well, you're the second person we're talking to, and I believe the second video, but the first person we're talking to, I believe is going to be the third, actually is a medical professional. So don't worry. Once again, when I was a teacher, the kids always thought I got up there and I was just doing some yes and improving. There is a plan. We have this wrapped up. We're going to get some medical insight into pitfalls that I didn't think of last year. But water's a good one. I did prepare for the first one I got up. I did not have any alcohol until, the game started. I didn't pregame. We had friends over early. I ate several croissants, to get some carbs in me. I had my morning 16 ounces of coffee. I did chug a bunch of water before I went in. But I did stop about 2 hours before with fluids because I did not have to take bathroom breaks. That was my big concern last year, that it was going to get rough. But somehow I made it through. I think it was just all the sweating. It wasn't making it down there.
Yeah. I think the other thing that you'd want to consider is not just chugging water the day of, but hydration leading up into that week. In a previous life, I used to run half marathon running here in Florida. So it was the hydration and nutrition, not just the day before, the day of, but the weeks leading into something of an endurance contest of this kind is very crucial. So if you just throw a couple of croissants in there and call it and slam a 16 ounce of coffee, I was again, it could be a recipe for disaster.
So since you know we have the wrestling connection here, you know, I'm not CM Punkin' it running the Chicago Marathon. I have gotten back to doing more road work. I never officially, but once just to see if I could do it. Did run a half marathon when I was living up in Maine. I got into distance running up there. I would knock out 15Ks pretty regularly. So like, I still got it in me to do that. You know, I've been doing 6.5 before I go to work. You know, like 3 or 4 times a week. You know, getting back in the habit. I do have my water liquid tracker. I fill out. I try and get my 80 ounces a day in. So
Good.
I'm on top of my fluids, but I guess being better about the booze leading up, that is some good advice I haven't thought of yet. Well, let's throw a hypothetical out, Karen. If you had to do something like this, what's one song you would want to listen to while you just having to just play a game for basically a solid day's work shift and consuming massive quantities of alcohol for children?
Oh yeah, for the children, of
It's
course.
for the kids.
It's for the kids. It would depend on what the vibe is. Like for me, it depending on how far along I am in it, it could be anything from like something upbeat and like boy bandish, like 90s boy bands. It could be, you know, disco if we're gonna go really, really old. It could be new metal if I need it. If I just want to rage out and just get something out of my system. So, or, you know, of course, you know, my J-pop, K-pop, all of that fun and happy, shiny stuff. It just depends on what kind of playlist you'd be wanting to put together. But also part of me, from when it comes to a gaming experience, if I'm playing a game that has like a proper soundtrack to it, I just want to lose myself in the game and lose myself in the soundtrack. If I'm doing something like this level where I'm just like, you know, a productivity stream, then yeah, I'll put together a playlist. But if it's a game, for me personally, that's more of my vibe. Is like I just want to like Final Fantasy VII is my end all be all. I've never played. I don't have a PS5, so I haven't played it on the, you know, the new versions of it. But like for me, when I was grinding that game back in 1997, I just wanted this. All I wanted to listen to. My roommate or my boyfriend would want to put the radio on. I'm like, no. I'm going to Midgard. I am doing the thing. I'm going to Nibelheim. I just want to lose myself in the game. So it's all like apples and oranges, I guess.
Okay. I mean, Dark Souls, FromSoft's games are largely atmospheric. There's not a lot of music in the main area.
Okay.
They just kind of kick it in with orchestral stuff when you get to bosses. So that's why I have the peanut gallery to kind of talk and also distract me from the terrible choice that I have made, all in the name of charity.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely, we have somebody who's, you know, a K-pop fan. I'll plug her for suggestions. You know, if you think of any specific songs, throw them to me afterwards. One thing last year, I was kind of surprised because we did talk about the contents of our liquor cabinet that nobody thought to make me drink. Karen, I know you spent time in Japan, so
yes,
perhaps you're familiar with this. You know, I married into a Chinese family, which is where I got introduced to it.
Oh,
what do you know about baijiu?
That is some if I'm going to put a pun in here, that is some whiskey business, sir. That is very, very dangerous. Very danger-esque, if you will.
It's, you know, 53%.
Yeah.
50% sorghum, 50% wheat. The sorghum is really the spin a bit here. Oh yeah, I know what that's gonna do. Oh, yeah, that's in my nostrils. But she had told me that, you know, maybe I should try baijiu sometime, and she told me that it smells like trash and tastes like fire. So we
like, as in, oh my god, it's so good it's fire, or you are licking the flames of hell fire.
Yeah. We are in one of the many hells that we have, you know, in our Chinese orthodoxy. It's that hell. And the thing is, I kind of like it a lot. You know, it's pretty good. Yeah, the funk's there. It reminds me of, okay, I do fib. I did have one tug of some Puerto Rican rum when I was 12. That was my underage drinking experience. And I remember that just like defoliation of your body. So, you know, they always say you're chasing the first time. And somehow every time with baijiu is the first time.
No.
So I bought a bunch for my groomsmen party, and before we went to the service, we were all there. I poured out shots for everybody, and we went for it. And I was the only one that had had it before. And my Albertan friend came into the room. He was a little bit late, and he said, "Who the hell's been spraying brake cleaner in here?" And it connected the dots that I was trying to really get for what does this remind me of? Because I've had many jobs. I used to pump gas living in the great state of New Jersey as a profession. Because of RoboCop, you can't pump your own gas. You'll start a fire.
You can't pump your own gas.
No, don't do it. But yeah, the Baiju it's a big one. I like it. It's fun. If I put that on the queue though, that is probably going to be exactly one will be available. I have had multiple in a night, just drinking that, and that's enough. But our liquor cabinet is varied. We have some fun things. I also am willing to get a little silly. Are you familiar with the TV show Home Movies?
No.
Okay, so...
Not America's Funniest Home Videos, right?
No. Okay, so...
Sorry, I'm showing my age.
I mean, I remember that too.
Infrequently, I watched broadcast television.
So, Dr. Katz, Metalocalypse, Home Movies is a lot of the same people that do that animated show. And there's one episode where one of the characters decides to become a bartender, but he's terrible at it, and decides to give up after failing to make a Sex on the Beach and a Kamikaze, and comes up with some of his own creations. One was rum and milk.
Oh, God.
Yeah. One was wine and the juice from a can of olives.
Okay.
One was whiskey, milk, hot mustard, parsley, and a piece of pimento. Oh, over ice. Very important, over ice. I've drank all three of those.
I'm sorry.
Well, see, okay, my wife, very good sport.
By choice or as a punishment?
I have a wheel of the worst drinks that I allow you to donate to spin. And
I see.
Again, she'll tolerate the Baiju, so despite, she will not drink it. She is culturally just no. Also, oh yeah, sorry, circle back to Baiju. I was doing shot glasses. I don't know if you know this.
You're not supposed to drink that much Baiju.
No, I was.
As a sake drinker, I'm like, if I remember correctly, it's probably a third of that.
It's a little symbol. You do a little sippy in the thimble. I was at family dinner, and one of the cousins, heard I was drinking Baiju because, what's with the strange new guy, and he likes this thing that, is terrible. And, it's an after dinner thing, it's you and a dozen people passing it around, taking little sippies. One of my coworkers is an exchange student, and I don't know how it came up, but I mentioned that. And when I told her I was not using the right sized glass, she's like, it's very good for the spirits.
Yeah.
But the Coach McGurk, that was the character from Home Movies. Those drinks, the one thing my wife said was like, I'll let you drink this, but I have to live with you, so you can't use actual milk. And we used almond and/or oat milk for it. The one with the mustard was the best one. Surprisingly, it was. I don't know why it worked, but it did. It was,
It's like a weird Bloody Mary.
Yeah, it was the spicy Chinese mustard and an oat milk and whiskey, and we had a parsley and a pimento. And, sometimes you multiply negatives and you get a positive.
I think you just lucked out on that one, honestly, because that sounds terrible.
The wine one was pretty good, too. I mean, it's, essentially like a weird spin on a dirty martini, a little olive juice, get some tart in there, some salinity. But yeah, I'm gonna punish my body for a good cause. Let's try it. Let's get money for the kids. Karen's part of it now. There'll be some group games. I'm excited. I think people might want to find more of Karen on the internet, so I'm going to make sure I hit all these plugs. We have Post Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I will put links, down below as we do on YouTube. We also have the old link tree, linktr.ee/Karen Sensei, KarenSensei. If you're too important to wait for that, punch it in. Karen, thank you so much for doing this and then joining the team. And I'm sorry about the malort that will come your way when we play Mario Party. Do you have any parting words or additional questions, comments, or concerns?
Well, I will not be doing a 12-hour super stream because if you've noticed throughout the video, Miss Zelda, my dog, had like kind of nosed her way in the corner of the screen. She's a very needy girl, so probably on the day of, mine will be broken up into like sessions throughout the day. I will not day drink. I will probably drink in the evening, but in the next, in the months leading up to Extra Life Day, I'm going to try to find one weekend a month where I can do 3 or 4 streams within the course of a weekend and kind of do it that way. I might bust out the sake because I have been curating a sake collection over the last year, so maybe. But yes, you'll have to let me know what games that I will need to make sure that I have for our group sessions. And then, yeah, maybe figure out a way to... A lot of games I play are one-player games, like Animal Crossing, and for those who don't know of the ultimate genre, that is the romance, choose-your-own-adventure drama. That's my vibe. There are very, like most, comic books and manga, there are varying grades of detail and risque nature, which I probably won't be playing those for the kids. Or unless it's the very, very, like middle school PG-13 versions where it's like, oh, we go on a date and we hold hands and life is happy. But yes. Or if you want to see me play first-person shooters really bad, I'm trying to learn how to play Overwatch and Apex, and I'm bad at both. But yeah. But other than that, I do a lot of stuff for wrestling. But I'm trying to go back into my nerd wheelhouse between now and the end of the year, so. I'm trying to get back into tabletop gaming as well. I'm playing a campaign with my friends in the UK once a month. It's a very slow-moving campaign, but that's fine. But I'm also trying to get up the knowledge base to either try to lead my own as a DM or try to get a group of people together to play a short version campaign between now and November.
Well, I definitely think we can get people into that if that's where we want to go. We have options now.
Excellent. I love options.
I love this team. This team's great. Thank
you, Karen. Let's go. You're welcome. Thank you.
Should we do Fighting Spirit for the kids to sign off?
Open your hearts and your wallets.